Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first Sunday roundup. I don't think I'll call it, but kind of just a way to see what has happened the week before, or kind of just rounding up news that I didn't catch during the week. Um, so I'm gonna start. So feel free to skip around if you're a Samsung person, Pixel person, iPhone person. Mostly gonna be focusing on those three today. Plus, I'm gonna be looking at there's this new like crazy burst of companies putting out BlackBerry type phones, and I want to look into those products. So if you're interested in that, definitely skip to that. But first, I'm going to start with the iPhones and just to look at this new roadmap. Also, I'm on my bed right now because it's really cold over here. Um, and I don't want to move to my desk. So 2025 already happened. Of course, we got the 17s, including the Air. 2026, I don't know if we're for sure getting the 17E this year. I'm assuming, right? But I think in fall of this year, it's going to be the official break, meaning the 18 Pros. There's still speculation going on if there is going to be another Air or not. And then of course the iPhone Fold is going to come out in the fall, and then the base 18 along with the 18E will be I guess not delayed is not the right word, but pushed to their new launch dates of I believe spring of 2027. And then moving forward, that's going to be their new lineup for maybe the foreseeable future. I could only find this on Amazon, or not Amazon, Instagram, by this creator TechZone22277. Um, I don't. I think it's. Listen, I think it's okay. I think this is going in the right direction for phone companies, and that they're breaking their launch windows. However, I do think they could alternate years. So 2026 would be, it could be the two Pros and then the foldable. 2027, um, nothing, and then 2028 is when you get the base 18s and the 18E and the 18 Air. Kind of like that. I'm not entirely sure. I guess I mean, for a company that needs to put something out every year, I get it, but when everything is so minimal, the upgrades are so minimal, it kind of makes the consumer wonder, like, okay, why wouldn't people, like, why are we continuing to buy new products every year when the changes are very, very minimal? Innovation is severely lacking, etc., etc. So hopefully in maybe like the next decade or so, things will be released in 2 3 years apart rather than every year. And then yeah, so on and so forth. But that's just my personal opinion. I think it's better for us as consumers. Every other year, every 2 years, we get a new product that has noticeable and useful and great upgrades that make us want to buy it, instead of kind of just, for decades now we've been tricked into thinking that we have to buy the new product to get the new features and all of that. So that's the unfortunate thing about being a tech person in modern times, I guess. But that's my little spiel on that. So moving forward to the 18 Pro. Actually, I want to look at so this is from Phone Arena, because there are leaks suggesting that the dynamic island is going to be smaller. There are other leaks suggesting that there is going to be um an under screen camera, face ID and then camera. And then there are other rumors suggesting that the camera punch hole is going to be moved to the top left of the screen. So there's a lot of conflicting rumors and speculation going on. So let's take a look at this Phone Arena article. The iPhone 18 punch hole display was apparently a translation error. Here's what Apple is actually doing. So it says the dynamic island might be sticking around for the 18 for now, though not as you might expect it. Okay, so essentially the article boils down to the infrared sensor was the change being moved to the top left, and it's not the punch hole camera, and that the Face ID sensors are going under the display, under the screen display, and the dynamic island is going to stay. So essentially there's not going to be any changes in terms of visuals. I don't think you're going to be able to see the infrared on the top left if it moves there. You're not going to really be able to notice the Face ID sensors below the dynamic island. I gotta say, as someone, so I'm filming this on my S25 Edge, which I'm going to be making a separate video on because I absolutely love it, even though it was a total bust, and pretty sure it's dead in the water now, which kind of sucks because I was looking forward to a S26 Edge, but I don't know. I mean, there still might be hope, but I'll talk about it some other time. So, as someone who goes from Android to iPhone a lot, I will say, where's my iPhone? I'm probably one of the very few people that really, really enjoys the dynamic island. I think it's such a fun feature. The copycat version of dynamic island features on Android is just a little not so fleshed out yet. It's just dynamic island works in so many different ways. The apps like DoorDash, Starbucks, when our stuff is being made, being delivered, we don't have a dynamic island type version for our devices. You could download separate third-party apps that do it, but you have to give it a whole bunch of access to everything on your phone, which is like a no-go for a lot of people. So I, for one, am a very big fan of Dynamic Island, and I hope they maintain it for a while because I am looking forward to an iPhone Air successor. I used the iPhone Air for a while, and I'll put a link to my main channel where I have that review of it on here. But I really enjoyed it, and just to very, very quickly go on a quick tangent, the S25 Edge is 6.7 screen size, iPhone Air 6.5 screen size. The Air was much more comfortable for my small hands. I got really small hands here. The 6.7 of the Edge is just a tad too big. But I think it still fills in that gap of wanting a large phone to be able to watch media a lot more comfortably, to read articles much more comfortably. But I think the 6.5 it is probably perfect size for me, and I was hoping a 26 Edge was going to shrink the size a little bit, but I think that was probably just something I really wanted. So going back to the article, once again, Dynamic Island is probably going to stay for a while. I think probably for the iPhone 20 anniversary phone, they'll skip the dynamic island and do everything under the screen, so it's one flat piece of glass. I think the iPhone 21 will probably revert back to the dynamic island. Kind of like the iPhone X series, we had all that cool stuff there, the materials, the design, and then it kind of just went back to normal in the iPhone 11. So, yeah, so they just did the same thing. Um, um, Okay, so yeah, so going on the iPhone 18 Pro leaks. This is from ndtv.com. Okay, so this article is kind of a bust of nothing. It just says that the screen sizes are going to be the same for the Pros. Obviously, there's going to be a new chip. Advanced camera features. Obviously, camera features are always going to be improved every year because Apple has to have something to tell their consumers this is the best camera ever in an iPhone, stuff like that. This is just Indian pricing over here. I don't know what the conversion rate is, so let's find a different article about the iPhone 18 Pros. Okay, so this is another article from Phone Arena on 10 key upgrades. for the iPhone 18 Pros. This one is the most interesting so far. I'm again, like the dynamic island, I'm probably one of the few people that actually really enjoyed the camera control. Um Again, switching back to iPhone, I do feel that missing just to have that very quick access to a camera. On my Edge, I double press my power button and the camera opens. Not that big a deal. It's literally just one extra button push as compared to one button push on the camera control on the iPhones, but there was just something so natural. I think it's because I have small hands, and I know a lot of people complained about the location of the camera control being so low on the phone. It just didn't make sense to be so low right there. But as someone who does have small hands and is able to navigate my thumb in a much better way than people who have bigger hands and their thumb is like way above the camera control. Right, here's my iPhone 16 Pro that I haven't used in a really long time since I switched back to Android. So, as you could see, my thumb is very comfortably right there, holding it when I'm using my phone this way. Very comfortable with my thumb. When I'm holding the phone this way, use my forefinger here. So I have no problems with the camera control. I think it's a very neat thing. But once again, it becomes obsolete when you move back to Android and you can have your Samsung phone double press the power button and open up the camera. If you have good lock, you could program your to just hold down the power button for, I think, for like a quick second, and it opens up the camera. Right now I have my power button, double press camera, hold down power button is the flashlight. So being able to do that on my Samsung is pretty much takes away the action button that I really enjoy on the iPhone, and I just use it for the flashlight. So 2 extra buttons on the iPhone, slimmed down into one button on the Samsung, which I think gives Samsung an upper hand. However, just having the physical extra buttons on the iPhone to open the flashlight, to open the camera, it is a nice little, I guess, tactile option for me. But I don't know. I get so I just going back to that. I know that was a little random rant, but going back to the camera control, I think a lot of people aren't going to really care about this or any future upgrades unless it's an upgrade removing the camera control. I don't think anyone really cares about this, but I do. So it just looks like there are rumors saying they are getting rid of the touch sensitivity and haptic feedback, leaving only pressure-based input, to remove accidental gestures. So that was another big problem a lot of people had with the camera control. They would always accidentally press it. I've read on Reddit mostly people saying they just disabled the camera control altogether because it was so pointless. So I have a feeling after the 20th iPhone, there's going to be a reset of taking away the camera control, or it might be maybe exclusive to the pros. Maybe I could see that happening, because right now my 16E that I really enjoy, it doesn't have the camera control. There are rumors but it does have the action button. There are rumors suggesting that the 17E might have it, or might have a dynamic island. It kind of goes back and forth on that. So another rumor, so just kind of quickly moving past the other ones, obviously the chip is going to be upgraded. Storage might go up to 2 terabytes these days, for the 18 Pro. I believe it's 1 terabyte for the 17 Pro, which is kind of nuts, but I think it's probably very useful for people who use their phones for videography, maybe photography, all that kind of stuff that requires large amounts of data on their phone, or storage on their phone, not data. Yeah, and who especially use everything RAW. I don't do that. I have no reason to use RAW or 4K or 8K. I don't even have a TV that supports 8K, so what the heck is the point? But yeah, I imagine people who maybe do wedding photography, nature photography need all that storage, if especially if their phone is their primary um photography tool or camera, I guess. Not tool. um let's see. Where was the other one? Where's it? A more polished look on the back. So it seems as if all the hate for the 17 Pro design kind of quickly went down. Um, I think the silver iPhone 17 Pros look the best, especially with that two-tone silver and white. I think the second best is the blue, having a two-tone of a darker blue with a subtle light blue. Right here, you could kind of see that it's light, and then in videos and reviews and all that, you can't really tell the different shades of the blue. It's most notable on the silver. I think because the orange was a big deal this year, it it added to the new design of the Pros, and I think it kind of psychologically made people think it was ugly design choice. I think it's okay. I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's the best. I just come from a perspective of at least it's change. Again, not the greatest, not the worst, but change is change, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction of other companies, especially Samsung, to try something new. I don't understand why these billion-dollar companies, trillion-dollar companies are so afraid of trying something new. Apple gives Google what, like 1 billion a year for Google services, and they're about to give them another billion a year for Gemini. Why can't they put a billion in a new design? I don't understand it. And I'm sure Samsung isn't frugal right now. I like, why can't they have a S26 Edge? Why can't they risk that just for 1 year? I don't understand why these companies are so, or why these I guess Western companies are so scared of innovation. Because you go across to the whole Asia market, and those phones over there just doing crazy things or being fun with their design, their designs, and yeah, it's a whole different world over there. And then you come over here to what we have in the Americas, um, and yeah, we just get these boring slabs that don't change year to year. And yeah, so when we get something like this, a change like this, at least it's a change. I think it was just a little bit overblown with the design. Um, I don't know what a different one will be. I do like the two tone. I hope it's going to be a little bit exaggerated in the Pros, in the 18 Pros. Um, and I hope they do something more two tone ish with the 20th anniversary. But I have a feeling the 20th is going to be more sleek design rather than fun, unfortunately. So let's see. The Pro could address this by better aligning the glass and metal finishes for a more uniform appearance. While there were earlier rumors about a partially transparent back, newer reports suggest Apple is aiming for a cleaner, more seamless look instead. That would be kind of cool. We haven't really seen a transparent phone in a really, really long time from anyone ever, right? Or actually, has that ever been a thing? I know there's the Unihertz Jelly. We'll take a look at that at the end when we talk about all the BlackBerry copycats coming out. But the only transparent products I could think of are the Game Boys and all of that, the DS's. I don't. I mean, there could have been some old school transparent phones way back when, but nothing modern in modern times. So moving forward, just to keep things rolling, the Pro Max might set a new weight record. See, this is the one of the things with the larger, because of the larger battery, over 240 grams. 13 and 14 Pro Max weighed exactly 240 grams. Prioritizing. Yeah. Um, honestly, I don't know about so it's one of the things that was so appealing about these two thin phones that I hope will continue to live on is that carrying around this 16 Pro Max, it was great for content, for media, all of that, playing games. But putting this in my pocket, putting this in my bag was not fun at all. Now that I have the Edge, it could comfortably stay in any of my pockets, in any of my bags, and not feel like a heavy burden. Um, Same thing with the iPhone Air when I used it for like about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. Uh, it's just something I think. I think the Pro Maxes it's expected for them to be heavy. They have all the stuff. They have the biggest battery in the series. Same thing for the S26 Ultra, Pixel, Pro XL. Those phones, yeah, we expect those things from them, but I think companies should also focus on their non premier premier premium, not premier, premium. I'm looking for the word premium. Non premium phones to be lighter, and I don't necessarily think thinner. Well, I guess they kind of go hand in hand, right? To be lighter, you have to cut back on some things, and I'm assuming the width of the phone is one of them. So yeah, never mind. But I kind of want a phone that's just like if I could get a light phone in the size of 6.1, 6.2 with a pretty great battery, pretty great camera, I would love that. Like a mini S20 or like a mini S Ultra. That's what I'm trying to look for. 18 the Pros, the iPhone Pros, the Pixel Pros, those are great, but they have been going up in size for a while or for a few generations now, and I think they should have just stayed at where they were. Um uh, uh, yeah, and it's kind of pushing people away. It's like every year phones get bigger and bigger. Remember when the Pro Maxes were at 6.7 inches and they went up to 6.9? It's kind of nuts. And so, speaking of increases of phone size, I was pretty disappointed that the base 17 went up to 6.3 rather than keep their 6.1 form factor. Um, I think that they should have kept that because now they don't really have a small phone other than maybe the E series, but I don't know if it's a matter of if or when the E series increases to a 6.3 screen, but I don't know. I'm just one person, I'm just the kind of person that wants a small phone option on the market. Yeah, you have the flip phones of Samsung, Motorola, but I'm just so very cautious of those just because I don't know how, like, what will happen to it if you drop it as opposed to just dropping a slab brick of a phone. So those are just some of the, well, one major thing that's keeping me away from those ultra portable flip phones. Um, and I don't know. I just want something comfortable in the hand. It using the slim phones, it seems as if slimness and weight definitely factor into being able to comfortably hold a phone for me. And then on the other end, it's the size of the screen and the width of the phone screen as well. Um, so it's like those two deciding factors. So with the slim phones, I get the height of the phone, but I get the slimness and the weight to be able to hold the phone comfortably. On the other end, small phones have the weight, but they have the size advantage of being able to be comfortably held in the hand. So I just kind of want one, like some sort of middle ground between having a slim phone that's also small in size. if that makes sense. So it seems that as of now, the iPhone 18, since we're about a year away from it, if they do stick to the schedule of spring 2027, incremental hardware upgrades, not so much significant design alterations. This is from Apple Insider. Yeah, early 2027, so 2026. Expected to bear significant resemblance to the 17. Will maintain the 6.27 display size. Let's see what else. Yeah, it went up to the 120 hertz. I gotta say, this is such a non-issue to the real world. 60 versus 120 hertz. No one in the real world knows what the heck that means. No one can see it unless people tell them to look for it. Yeah, I don't really care. I've when I had my Pixels, when I had it has the option to switch to 60 hertz, I just do it, and I can't even tell, even though I've seen videos that showcase it so very clearly. I in person can't even tell. Like, what am I gonna do? Look at Instagram smoother, or watch YouTube videos a little bit smoother? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just, again, such a non-issue, um, that only the tech community online cares about. Um, Under display Face ID with a smaller front camera cutout. Oh, it says the change might not be in the works for the base 18. So it might be something that will be exclusive to the pros, and then maybe with the 21st iPhone. I wonder if they're going to keep I wonder what happens after the 20th iPhone. If they're going to go to the 2021. I mean, Samsung is on the 26 right now, or about to be. Or if they're going to switch to keep up with their new iOS name change if after the iPhone 20. So when is that going to be? So 2020, so 18 is 2026, 2027. So after the 20, would it be iPhone 28? No, 29? Would it be iPhone 29? I think, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. But it seems a little silly. I kind of wish more phones would get away from the numbers and just be, or get just, I don't even know, from a marketing standpoint, what would be a good name change? iPhone, Pixel, like Pixel, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I confused myself. I don't even know what I would like a phone to be called. Huh. I think of I think just going by the year that it comes out, or just like the iPhone Air just being called the iPhone Air, and then in parentheses it's the date of launch or the year of launch. Like 5 years from now, it will just be iPhone Pro, and then in parentheses 2031 version or edition, something like that. Something clean and simple. Um, yeah, well, in like 20 years from now, we're gonna be on the iPhone 40s. Sounds kind of silly. um, the two glass. It's possible Apple will make changes to the back glass of the 18. Slight color adjustment. As opposed to fully transparent or translucent back glass. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, yeah, camera changes. All the internals, yeah. Performance. Change every year because they have to. Simplified camera control. Oh yeah, from that other article we were just reading. Yeah, so it seems like, again, a very very small upgrades coming to the 18. Nothing too crazy. Let's see if so because it's so far away, I just want to my so this Apple Insider article pretty much sums up what I was thinking about the 20th being a somewhat of a successor to the iPhone X series. Um there's a lot in here saying it may or may not have a curved glass screen, or it might have some sort of uh curved OLED, and to trick it into looking like a one curved glass screen, stuff like that. So I mean, these are just rumors. What, 3 years away? So 2 years away. Um, so I'm not gonna focus too much time on it, but I personally think it's going to be, in terms of design, very very similar to what we had on the iPhone X. Maybe have a third camera here. I don't think they're gonna do the whole plateau, that's what they're calling it, camera bar thing over here. I think it's gonna be something super sleek like this. I think they're gonna have that glossy edges. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I just hope it's something cool like the iPhone X. I still think the X series, XS Max, all of that was the coolest in design so far, other than the iPhone 5C. I think we should probably be. I think the E series should transition to an iPhone C type thing. So for those who don't know, the iPhone 5C was a very very colorful plastic back iPhone, and I think we need. I think someone needs to transition back to the cheap plastic phone. Considering Apple wants to be this environmental big wig out there, even though they're not really. They could make a phone entirely made out of recycled plastics, all of that, and I think that's what the E series should have been, something super super cheap. I don't understand why there is such a thing. Uh, for the lowest series iPhone to be like $100 less than the base flagship iPhones. It kind of makes no sense, but I get it. But I think a revival of the C would make a lot of people happy, especially parents out there. But moving on, just very very quickly, this 9 to 5 Mac article is saying that two iPhone 17 Pro features might be added to the Air 2. The first one being vapor chamber for cooling and improved performance. I gotta say, even though I only used the iPhone Air for about 2 weeks, I didn't notice any problems with performance or heating or a need to cool everything down. I had a very fine time with it. No problems whatsoever. Obviously, the battery was probably the biggest problem. And I'm putting problems in quotes because it's an expected thing to have less battery with a thin phone, so you can't really complain about that. It still lasted me about my entire day from 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. I was pretty fine with it. Same with the Edge. It lasts me for well over 12 hours. Um, Not so much if I'm on YouTube a lot. So there might be a second camera. I wouldn't hold my breath for it. If they have a third Air, maybe on the third Air, but I think the second Air is going to be very minimal incremental upgrades. Because if the Air has two cameras, why not just put the two cameras on the original, the first Air? So it doesn't really make sense for them to only take one upgrade to add that additional camera. But let's move on to Samsung. I probably won't talk about Pixel. I know I mentioned Pixel in the beginning, but there's not really any Pixel news as of now because it's so far away. Their new product. So Samsung is right around the corner. So unfortunately, there was kind of like I only have 8% left on my laptop here, so hopefully I could get through all my Samsung stuff before the battery dies. But so it was kind of a whirlwind of information back around October, November. All the leaks came out. There was going to be a cool S26 Pro that was going to be way improved above the base 20 the base S phones that we've been getting from Samsung. And then there's a cool rumor about the S26 Edge having a super large back camera like the iPhone 17 Pros, and I was gonna get better battery, I was gonna get better cameras, and then I think by the end of November, all those rumors came to a halt, and it was revealed Samsung was scrapping both. They were just going to very, very, very minimally improve their S26. They were going to bring back the S26 Plus because they were going to get rid of it in lieu of the Edge taking over. And yeah, all of that went to crap. Apparently, they're rushing to produce and manufacture the S26 Plus. That's why their release has been delayed until I believe the end of February, and then released on the beginning of March, when it was supposed to be the end of January, beginning of February release. And yeah, now they're just the S26 Ultra. They didn't have any last minute changes to that because they already knew that they wanted to very, very minimally improve that phone. So what's the point? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so what we're getting is just the regular lineup: S26 base, the Plus, and the Ultra, unfortunately. And Samsung Colombia has indirectly confirmed these names on its website by mentioning them in its PDF document that details promotions. It doesn't mention the Edge, the S26 Edge, or the S26 Pro, so they probably won't launch along with the regular S26 series. Oh, because it's yeah, I forgot. I seen this a while ago. Not a while ago, like a week ago. It was a internal, or it's a leaked promotion of financing options of 6, 12, 18, or 24 months for the S26 series. And then because there's no Edge or Pro here, it's assumed that they are not going to be released at the same time as these three phones. Yeah, so anyone out of the loop, it looks as if we might have to wait maybe for a base Pro phone, and also a new Edge. I don't know if even that is gonna come out. I have no idea. This is once again from Phone Arena. Expect to see the base iPhone have 256. 256, right? Yeah, as opposed to their 128 that they've been giving. We also, I'll show you guys a look at the colors that have been leaked. Don't know if they are for sure thing. It looks like the orange that has been going around was actually just a super big rumor that piggybacked off of the orange of the iPhone 17 Pros. There might be a silver shadow and pink gold option on Samsung's website because they always have, I think it's like 2 to 3 exclusive colors on their website. You have to buy from directly from their website. Let's see what else. Yeah, we don't need 4K on our phones, guys. We don't need 4K recording capabilities, 8K. We don't need that. No one needs it. Again, for the like 1% of people who use their smartphone devices as their primary photography camera. Yeah, okay, so moving on to the S26 Ultra. I want to show you, yeah, these are the rumored colors. And if you guys don't know, so this is the S25 Edge, and as you could see, this camera bump here, it has this little ring around it. It was the immediate thought when I saw the leaks for the S26 Ultra, and the Plus and the base. They are coming with these rings around the camera lenses now. And it seems as if Samsung is in some sort of identity crisis where they're going from Let me show you guys the S24. Hold on. So I just want you guys to see. So this is the S24 Ultra right here. You could see their camera lenses are just the basic that they've been using for I believe maybe one or two generations before the S24 Ultra. This is the S25 Ultra. They had these black camera rings around the lens. If you watch the jury rig video, a knife could easily pop them off because they're just glued on. And now with the S26 Ultra, we are getting these larger camera rings around the lenses. So it seems as if Samsung just defaults to changing what's around the lenses um, as a way to show that these are new Ultra phones, that these are new Samsung phones. It's a little bit comical that this is all they have to offer. Their fan base is a change in what's around the lenses. It's a bit of a disappointment. I think they could do much more. I don't think they want to do much more because Pixel has the horizontal, iPhone has the triangle, and I think they have to keep the vertical camera because they don't want to be seen as a copycat, even though they pretty much, I mean, there's no innovation, so why the heck not take a risk and be called a copycat as opposed to just staying the same for the next decade or so? It doesn't really make sense. I don't really get it. I think they could do a lot more. Their flip phones have two horizontal cameras, and it's possible. I just don't think they want to try it. Yeah, so this is just a website art. This is just an article from Droid Life about the different colors. I think they're okay. I think these two, I think they could get rid of the blue and maybe have some sort of cool olive. The S24 Ultra had a pretty cool green olive to it. Purple. It looks cool. I think a purple would look a lot better in person. The S24 Ultra did have a pretty cool purple. Um, but I think Samsung, if I I think in terms of colors they do need to copy Apple because the ultramarine blue of the iPhone 16 is probably the coolest color out there. The olive green of the iPhone uh 17s. I think this is probably the best color phone on the market right now. Even the purple of the 17 is really nice, but I think this and then the ultramarine is probably the second best color on the market right now. Um, yeah, and then Samsung kind of just keeps it safe with their boring colors. They're very this is the purple that I was talking about. Um, they're just kind of like very like so lifeless, the colors. I don't know why they continue to play it safe. I don't know why they don't try to do more with the colors, especially since the base S phone and the Plus, they're not made of titanium, so they're more than capable of having bright colors, very lively colors like this. I don't, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. So this is all the colors for the 17. Um, oops, let me show you guys the 16 in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this ultramarine, I think it's really nice. Um, the pink, the greens are okay, but the ultramarine was definitely the standout in the 16 lineup. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. I don't really understand. I think Samsung is just way too comfortable where they are right now. That's why they're not really doing much. The biggest upgrade for the Ultra this year is, and I don't know for sure if it's coming to the base and the Plus models, but it's the privacy screen. Keep it, let me see what this says. This is from Sam Mobile. Storage upgrade for the S26, yeah, 256. Um, Oh, that's all that says. Oh, S26. No, it's S26 Ultra. New screen, upgraded release. I'm trying to find just like a rundown of what is this? Samsung's new Galaxy Ultra accessories perfect. There are rumors that they are following the Pixel and bringing Qi 2 to the S26. Samsung will launch with its first CH2 certified magnetic power bank. Um, let's see. Does it say anything? It doesn't say that the phone itself is going to be, unless I missed it. But that's one of the rumors. I think just the biggest confirmed rumor right now is the privacy screen. Of course I can't. Let me. I can't stand online places paywalling their content. I don't like it. So I'll probably let me pause this because my phone or my laptop is on 4% and I don't want to get cut off. Okay, so the notorious leaker Ice Universe is saying that the S26 Ultra screen is going to be so tough that it might make third-party screen protectors unnecessary, which is kind of good. I had the S25 Ultra. I know it's not necessarily talking about the actual strength of the screen, but uh uh the non-reflective screen of the S24 Ultra at the time was super incredible. I loved that thing. I only used it for like a month or so before I had to return it. And then I tried the S25 Ultra. Same thing, slightly improved upgrade, but I think it's such a I don't know if Samsung has made it so only their Ultra phones can have that type of non-reflective screen, but I would love it if it came to the base S phones or even the next Edge phone. That would be probably the coolest thing ever, but I think they're probably keeping it exclusive to the Ultras just to lure more people in. But this is the privacy display that is probably most likely coming to the Ultra. Again, I'm not entirely sure. Some articles, some sources say that it's going to come to all S26 phones. Others say it's just exclusive to the Ultra. Not entirely sure. Apparently, it's going to be a software feature, and it's either if it's exclusive to the Ultra, or it's either exclusive to the entire 26 lineup. Either way, people who have phones right now, they're not going to see it on their phones, regardless of any software upgrades. Which is unfortunate, but this is kind of it in motion. A little look at it. It's kind of cool. I think paired with their anti-reflective screen technology, I think this is probably going to be a huge thing for a lot of people. I know it's pretty huge for me. I do like those privacy screen protectors. I think they're very cool. I think they're very useful, especially when you're in public places and there's people just being creeps about everything and wanting to see what you're looking at. So I think it's going to be fairly useful for your average person that uses smartphone technology these days. In terms of how it'll work, if there's going to be like a little button, I don't remember where I saw it, but you could program it to be if you go into a public place like an airport, a coffee shop, or something, it automatically turns on. I'm not entirely sure. The details of it aren't exactly known just yet. Um, let's see. Yeah, yeah, anti-glare, anti-reflective, same thing. Trying to find the right words for that. Let's see. Yeah, and then this article ends with, screen protectors can be replaced, but an actual screen, it takes a lot more effort to replace it and a lot more money, which is, I mean, it is true. As much as I love the anti-reflective screen of the Ultras, and I love matte glass screen protectors. I think they're very, very cool. I love how it removes the glare. It doesn't remove it completely, but putting it on like my Edge or something or an iPhone, it does reduce the glare of the sun and other lights that are on the ceilings and stuff. However, it does make the quality of text, the quality of videos go down a little bit because it is so grainy. Um, and when you have something like for the ultras that already have the anti-glare screens, adding a glass screen protector on top of that kind of just cancels out the anti-glare that's already on your phone. Um, and that's what kind of like always bugged me. I love the idea of anti-glare screen, but if you drop that phone, you gotta go through the extra effort of replacing that screen. Whereas if you get a screen protector, like again, you could just buy another one. Or usually screen protectors these days come in 2 packs or 3 packs, so it's just a matter of like 5 minutes switch. Um, and then there's another matter like I was just talking about, you have an anti-glare screen already and then you kind of risk making it obsolete by putting on an additional screen protector on it. So if Samsung could come out with the screen that's both anti-glare and very, very, very durable, of scratches and cracks, I think they probably will win in terms of just screen technology, because my understanding is they're pretty much the biggest. I don't know if they're the biggest supplier. I know Apple uses their screens a lot for a lot of their products. Um, but if Samsung, and that's why there was a rumor suggesting that the 17 Pros were gonna get an anti-reflective screen this last year, but apparently it was scrapped last minute. There hasn't been much rumors in terms of the 18 Pros getting an anti-reflective screen protector. I mean, a screen anti-reflective screen. So I'm not entirely sure if something went on between Samsung and Apple to where the talks of Samsung providing anti-reflective screens to Apple's products, maybe there wasn't an agreement. But if I were Samsung, I would not give those screens to Apple because you're kind of making your competition that pretty much beats you every year in terms of sales. In America, I'm talking just like America. I Samsung, I think they hold 80% across the world, and then America, it's like the reverse. Apple is 80% or something like that. It's very, very high. It's much higher than Samsung um sales over here in America. So if you give your biggest competition in America the bread and butter of your Ultra, which is the anti-reflective screens, I think you're just you know digging your own grave at that point. And I think the the Apple iPhone users would love what the Ultras have. I tried the 18 or the 17 Pro for about 2 weeks. I could not tell that thing had a built-on improved anti-reflective screen on that thing. It could not tell you. Like if I had to sell that as an anti-reflective screen, I could not. There was a, I don't know. I don't know how it's marketed as an improved anti-glare, anti-reflective screen. I couldn't see it. Maybe the sun is just too bright over here in California. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was a joke. I thought it was like, why, like how are you marketing it as such if it's not even close to being what I've seen on the Ultras. So um yeah, so I mean, that was a long-winded way of saying I want more from the Ultras, but I think we're probably not going to get it anytime soon. Um, I wish Samsung had some sort of anniversary that they're going to utilize to change up. Sorry, sorry, I had dry throat for a quick second. To kind of drastically change their designs, but like Apple might probably do with their 20th, but I don't think that's gonna come anytime soon. I mean, it took 7 generations for the Z Fold 7 and the Z Flip 7 to have drastic improvements in terms of uh uh size and thinness and capabilities. They're very, very nearly creaseless screens. Just as a side note, I don't care about creases when I use my Z Flip 3. I couldn't care less about that crease. I thought it was still a cool piece of technology with the crease. I didn't care. Um, and a lot of people apparently in the tech community do care about creases. I don't know why. It's such a stupid thing. I don't know. But again, so it took them 7 generations to kind of really bring out what those two the flip and the fold can do. And yeah, I mean we're on the S26 series now and it's still very, very minimal improvement. I saw some reports saying that the base S series is still using the same camera technology as found in the S22. If that's the case, that's kind of messed up. I don't know the reasoning behind that because prices have increased on the base S, and ho- like what exactly are consumers getting, or what exactly are Samsung fans getting, in return? So those are kind of things we got to keep in mind as consumers when we're looking at buying new tech. We got to make sure that what we're getting is it is like we're getting our money's worth for something that costs at least $800 most likely. I think the base S is 800, right? Um, let's see. Based on leaked images of the new lineup, yeah, not expected to radically reinvent the look of any of them. Mm-hmm. Also, I gotta say, I loved the curved screen of my S23 Ultra and absolutely miss that function that feature of that phone, and I kind of wish the Ultras at the very least would have kept that as and also the square form factor or the rectangular form factor of the S20 or the Ultras. This kind of just makes it look like any other phone. It's not distinguishable from the base and the plus. It's just another phone with the squared edges. At least it was something different. You could tell it was an Ultra. Having those pointed corners, I mean you could tell right away it was an Ultra. A lot of people didn't like how it felt in their hand. It would get, it would get the it would get pushed into your palm right there. But I liked it. I thought it was comfortable. I thought it was a lot more comfortable than the curved edges or the curved corners of phones today. Um, so again, Ice Universe compiled the most accurate comprehensive parameter comparison of S25 versus S26. Can I click on this? So let's just see. Put it down a little bit. So, and these are still all leaks. I know we're about a month away from the actual unpacked event, but it could still be wrong. So take this with a grain of salt. It looks as if the 26 is going up a little bit in size. Um, yeah, the base storage is increased. Battery might be going up a little bit right here. Weight goes up by 2 grams. Thickness goes down by about 0.3 grams. So if these leaks are true, you could see how very, very minimal the and I'm saying upgrades in quotes because some of these might not even be upgrades. Zero point 0.1 increase in size might not be an upgrade to majority of people. 300 milliamp hour increase might be an upgrade to most people. Again, 2 grams heavier, whatever. 0.3 millimeters thinner, whatever. Excuse me, I'm having dry throat because I'm talking so fast. I need to calm down. Um, so yeah, it's a disappointment. This is how it is every year. Very, very minimal. It's yeah, it's a little bit nuts. I don't expect there to be much. I mean, the processor, of course, it improves every year with whatever comes out. It's supposedly supposed to get 4 grams thicker. The plus is pretty literal. It's literally identical except for the processor and 4 grams heavier. That's what Samsung is doing these days. Is there an Ultra one? No. Yes, just this. I don't know. It's just kind of nuts. What's going on with these companies these days? Let me see if there's an Ultra comparison. The difference between the Ultras is reportedly a bit clearer. And this article is from Engadget, by the way. Um, Cameras will be slightly more raised thanks to a new metallic finish. They may also switch back to aluminum instead of titanium. It might actually support Qi 2. Will remove the S Pen digitizer layer in the phone and adopt a new method for accepting stylus input. So, as someone who used the S23 Ultra for a little over a year, probably like a year and a half, I very, very rarely use the Ultra. I could see why people really, really love it. The few times I did use it, I really enjoyed it and everything you could do with it, and the just the accuracy with it. It was very nice. And I could see why people are obsessed with it and are disappointed that the Bluetooth function of using it as a camera, uh uh I don't know, camera, not camera control, but it to take a snap a picture from far away, you just use the stylus. um how I think I think it should come. I don't think they should get rid of it ever. I think that's what makes the Ultra and very unique, is that it comes with stylus support, including a inbuilt stylus for it. I think once they get rid of that, I'm not entirely sure what the Ultra will do to stand out, because that's one of the very, very few things about it that makes it worth it. And again, this is speaking as someone who very rarely used the stylus for the S26 Ultra. Okay, let's see what they have to say about the S26 Edge, and then we'll probably call it there. I think been going on a little bit too long. Again, there isn't much news in terms of Pixel, so I think I'm gonna hold off a few months for that until some actual juicy stuff comes out on it. Maybe next week I'll talk a bit about the 10A. Um, but that's pretty much all that Pixel has to offer right now, or is going to offer in the near future instead of the distant future of the Pixel 11s. Um, let's see. Uh, Much like foldables are for customers, that's what the Edge will be. The large rectangular, yeah. Oh, so this kind of just summarizes what we already know of the S26 Edge. The kind of iPhone like camera plateau. This is from Android Headlines. Yeah, so this is what it was supposed to be. I was pretty excited about that. I think it would be a little advantageous because I love the Pixels and their vertical camera bump and how it doesn't wobble on the table. when I don't use a case, and that's very a lot these days because I feel so comfortable with the Edge being caseless, um, that I feel like I don't need a case. And when I take it to work and I place it on the table and it wobbles so much, like, oh my god, this needs to be fixed, like crazily. I don't know. It's just such a very very small annoyance. But having this rectangular camera bump would fix that problem right away. Look, probably I think a lot of people will find this ugly, but again, the thin, slim, weightless or not, well, not weightless, light phones are the people that want them are very very few and far in between. So I think we can't really be too picky as to what these two companies offer, Apple and Samsung. So I don't really care. I think I could see advantages to this, but I think other people would be kind of put off by it. Um, so let's see. So when was this? This was, yeah. So this was in October when the like those rumors were coming out, and they're very very exciting. Um, Fortunately, this is probably not gonna come out anytime soon. Hopefully, maybe it. I think I'm gonna do more. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna keep up to date with it, but I think when in the summertime, right, June-ish area, when the fold and the flips come out, we'll have a better idea of whether or not the Edge is part of that release. If it's not, maybe the following winter for the S27 series, maybe we'll get some confirmation whether there is going to be an S26 Edge or if it's just like completely over. I think by next unpacked we'll know for sure if this is a dead phone or if there's a revival um in the works. But uh yeah, just it's coming to replace the S25. That's what they said about the S25 Edge. I think they're probably, I don't know. From the way I see it, I think Samsung is probably wondering if how the S26 Plus is going to sell this year, and then they're going to go from there. Not that the Edge sold crazily. I think it was probably one of the worst selling Samsung phones ever. I could be exaggerating a little bit, but I think it sucked so much in terms of sold units that they're just like over it. um yeah, so this was the rumored lineup way back when. The Pro, the Edge, and the Ultra. Shoot. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll end here. I just want to quickly look at this One UI 8.5 to see what's going on, if anything is going to be pretty cool about this. Um New floating tab bar. iOS 26 liquid glass. I will say I'm one of I'm not entirely sure the reception of liquid glass in iOS 26. I think it's kind of like a love or hate kind of thing. I really liked it. I think it's very cool. I do think that they had a super improvement on their colored icons this year as opposed to the iPhone. I mean the iOS. What was it, 18 or 17 when it was first announced? The colored icons, those things were ugly. They were like the worst possible colors options available they gave us. And yeah, huge improvement on iOS 26 in terms of the color and being able to make the colors darker, lighter, and all of that. Let's see. Yeah, look for some pictures. Adjust content size. Integrated panel. This you could add shortcuts and contacts to the apps panel. Apps panel. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that will be useful to me, but I think that's kind of cool. Switch to previous apps with gestures. Swipe the bottom area to switch to previous apps. Yeah, that's something that's available on iPhones. It's very useful. You just switch to the bottom. You just go like this, and it switches to the previously used app, which is very very nice if you don't want to. But I mean, we have the universal back gesture, so I'm not entirely sure how useful that will be. What is this? Icon changes? Icon shape changes? Share manager? What is that? Bu- 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 Photo assist, quick share. Quick share is kind of cool. I'm wondering how that would be used with non Samsung users. Storage share, audio broadcast. What is this? Ooh, effortlessly connect to Bluetooth, LE enable devices, or cast. Oh, eh, whatever. Theft protection, which will lock your phone if there are too many failed attempts to access it via erroneous fingerprints, PIN codes, or passwords. Like globally. Will most likely launch globally with the S26 series. Late February. Yeah. Yeah, not really that crazy things. Yeah, kind of a nothing going on there. I usually like to look at just pictures very quick just to see if anything catches my eye. So this is the. Oop, where'd it go? Why does it do that? So this is the iOS 26 liquid glass type upgrade coming to the One UI 8.5. Okay, yeah, whatever. I think we have more options than, and we already have liquid glass options on Goodlock. If you go into the I think it's theme park, you could change your icons already to have a glass like feature. But yeah, okay, I'll end it here. I don't want to ramble on unnecessarily. So today was just only iPhones and Samsung rumor roundup, opinions, thoughts, etc. Next week, probably do more in depth on the Pixel 10a to see if any more information about that has come out in a while. Haven't really checked in maybe a few months or so. Um, See what else this week comes out about the S26 series. And oh, I didn't even get to the BlackBerry type phones. Yeah, the Clicks communicator, Titan 2 Elite. There's another one. Oh, I don't even know the name of it. It's, I believe, a Japanese phone. I have to look into that. So I'll do an entirely different video on those two. Or on these BlackBerry type phones coming out. It's pretty exciting that this is the year of the physical button phone, and they all seem relatively affordable. I believe the Clicks is going to be around 400. This one, I'm not entirely sure what the price of this one is, but hopefully it's around the same. Is there a way I could let's see. Let me see what the Titan 2, how much it is. So the Titan 2 is 400, so I'm assuming the Elite will be somewhere in the same price area. It would make the most sense. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. For people that are kind of like really, um, I guess, nostalgic for the Blackberries they had way back when. So, well, I'll make a separate video about that as well. But for now, anyone out there who has watched this crazy ramble of a video, thanks for stopping by, and let me know if is anything I missed in terms of the iPhone 18s and the upcoming S26 series. Yeah, definitely let me know if I missed something. But I think I kind of covered all of it. I want this video or this channel to be kind of like a mixture of looking at rumors and speculations, and then kind of giving my thoughts on it and opinions as a very average consumer over here. Someone who doesn't really care about the ins and outs of all the specs and everything, but more so about the very grounded and average daily user experience. So that's where I'm coming from, and yeah, once again, thanks everyone for watching.